Module 3, Lesson 17, Drawing the Coordinate Plane and Points on the Plane. Learning targets. I can draw a coordinate plane on a graph in 2 steps. 1. Draw and label the horizontal and vertical axes, and 2. Mark the number scale. And I can make reasonable choices for scales on both axes and locate and label the points on a graph. As you can see on the screen, we have a set of points in the upper left-hand corner. I have also gone ahead and made our graph with its scale. So I looked at our numbers and saw that our biggest number is going to be this -9 for the vertical axis or the y-axis. So I went up to +9 and then down to -9. And then I saw that our biggest number for our x-axis is going to be 10, so I went to +10 and -10. Now that we have our graph with our scale, we can start by plotting our points. So we are going to start with 3, 2. So we are going to go to the right 3 spaces and then up 2. Okay, now let's do 8, 4. So we're going to go over to 8. And go up 4. Our next point is -3, 8. So we're going to go to the left to -3 and then up to 8. -2, -9, we're going to go over to the left 2 spaces and then go down to -9. 0, 6. 0, we're going to stay in that middle origin spot on the x-axis, and then we're going to go up to 6. So our spot is right on the y-axis. -1, -2. We're going to go to the left to -1 and then down to -2. And then 10, -2, we're going to go to the right to -10 and then down to -2. For our next set of points, I have already made our scale and our graph once again. And so I started by looking to see what our biggest number was going to be for our x-axis, which is 10. So I went to +10 and -10. And then I looked to see what our biggest number was going to be for our y-axis, and that is 40. Now, I don't have 40 lines, so I can't count up by ones. So instead, I counted up by 5s, and I went up to 50. And then I went down to -50. And now we can plot our points. So -4 and 20. -3 and 35, 1 and -35, 6 and 10, and lastly 9 and -40. So now we have a new set of points, and as you're looking at these points, you might notice that all of our x coordinates are a decimal. So when I was making our scale, I decided to go between 0 and 1. So as you can see, halfway is 0.5, and then halfway again is 1. And then I did that also for the negative numbers. And for our y-coordinates, I looked to see what our biggest number was going to be, and our biggest number was going to be 7. And so I just went up to 10 because I had room to go up to 10, and then I went down to -10. And now that we have our graph and our scale, we can plot our points. So for this one, for 0.1 and 4, we are going to go over to 0.1 on our x-axis, and then up 4. So it is right there. And 0.5 and 7, we're going to go over to 0.5, and then up to 7. 0.7, and negative 5. So we're going to go to the left to negative 0.7 and then down to negative 5. Negative 0.4, we're going to go to the left to negative 0.4 and then go up to 3. And then 0.8 and 1. So we're going to go over to the right to 0.8 and then up 1. All right, this is our last example for this lesson. And so as you can see, we have a new set of points in the upper left-hand corner. And I started by looking at our x coordinates. And I saw that our biggest number is going to be 14. And so I chose to go by 2s and then just stop at 16. So I would have enough room. And then I did the same thing on the left and went to negative 16. And then I looked at our y coordinates. And if you look at our y coordinates, we have some decimals. And our biggest number is 4. And so I went up to 4 and down to negative 4. But I left a little space between the numbers. So like this would be 1.5 to help us when we place those decimals on our graph. So now we can graph our points. So we have negative 14 and 2, negative 4 and negative 0.5, 6 and negative 3.5, 14 and 2.5, 0 and 3.5, and negative 8 and negative 4. Our lesson summary. The axes of the coordinate plane must be drawn using a straight edge and labeled x, horizontal axis, and y, vertical axis. Before assigning a scale to the axes, it is important to assess the range of values found in a set of points as well as the number of grid lines available. This allows you to determine an appropriate scale so all points can be represented on the coordinate plane that you construct. Now, go complete the problem set.